Well, hello there, and welcome to Tim Time Projects, where today we'll work on the dreaded switch mode power supply birdies, or the noise that you get. And they call them birdies, maybe because it sounds like a bird. But anyhow, I want to look at a couple things that I found out with it, and come on along for the ride. All right, so I have my mic right now on uh, the mode where it knocks out any background noise because the furnace is right behind me running. But that might not be a very effective mode because what I want to show here, or at least see here, is the noise or little birdies that come from this switch mode power supply, which I really wasn't aware of until recently. So we're going to look at something here in a minute. We'll give the furnace a little bit of time to wind it down so I can turn the noise blocker mode off. I'm going to turn this up anyhow, see if you can hear it. And you'll hear these all over the place. And at first thought, all right, furnace is winding down. I'm going to turn that mode off. Okay, so here they are. See if I can go to that. All right, there's one right there. There's a good one right there we can work with. At first thought, and I'm going to zoom this up a little bit more so you can see. You see when you take the antenna off, it goes away. So you're thinking, oh, that's can't be the power supply. It's got to be an outside noise. Now it's going to be virtually impossible to get the coax back on. Okay. But as you can see, they're all over the place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back to a linear power supply. Just turn that off. Negative to black, positive to red. Now we're on to this power supply, in theory. Let's turn this on, and we're even going to leave this running right beside it. Antenna's still plugged in. I think that was an actual transmission of some type. But as you can see, all those little, as they call them, birdies are gone. Turn that on. Let's try a different band. Let's try 160. I hear nothing. As you can hear, nothing. Now we're going to go back to the switch mode power supply. That guy back off. Negative. One, two, three. Right, they're everywhere. And again, we'll take that off. Maybe. Take the antenna off. Can't hear any. So are they heterodyning with something? Let me turn that down even more. So I'll blow my eardrums off. Back up. They're everywhere again. Let's try like 28 megahertz. Now that's actually a transmission. They're not as prevalent on 10 meters, so it seems to be on the lower frequencies. All right, now as my recording area starts to grow higher, the next thing I have, and unfortunately I leave icons down here, but the next thing I have is a 746. That was the other one. What was that, the 751 or whatever the heck it was? Yeah, 751A. So let's give this one a shot. Backwards, back on the switch mode. Turn that on. Same, I'm using the same power cord. Let's go to, give me a minute to remember how to work this one. We're down to 1.8. I do have an antenna plugged into it. And that's just a 10 meter dipole, or a, basically it's a Antron 99, I believe, is what's plugged in there. I think I have it on antenna 2 too. Let me check. There we go. Okay. Another birdie. Try 3.5. We're on FM. Let me put it on single sideband. And the right antenna again. All right, so you can see we're getting a bunch of them. Run down to 28 megahertz. Antenna 1. And I don't hear any. Those are actually transmissions you're hearing there. But back up to 1.8. There's a good one right there. So let's swap out the power supplies. And kind of, I don't know if you're going to be able to see as I do that because they're all in the back, but let's turn the power off. Pull from here. Black goes to black and red goes to red. I like to say that every time because if I'm not paying attention, you know what'll happen. All right, that one's on. And power's on. You can't see. Quiet as a little lamb. I don't know that lambs are that quiet. So let's look at one other thing. Let's go back to the noisy power supply. And the thing that made me think about this was I had checked this power supply out years ago, and somebody mentioned when I said there was no birdies in it, and they kind of laughed at it, and I said, well, I'm not getting any. But the funny thing is not funny. Probably the reason is because I never really used anything up above, I'd say 20 meters. Just because I never really had much need to, and even if I did, it wasn't with this power supply. It was usually with the big power supply I have upstairs for the radios. This was just stuff that I would for when I was testing. So anyhow, I'm acknowledging it, and I forget whoever that was that mentioned that about the birdies being there. Yeah, they're definitely there. And this power supply is advertised as not having any, and supposed to be made in America and everything that went with it. I mean, it's been a great power supply other than that. But you know, they're a little bit noisy because of the fan. I've heard people complain about that. This one's not that noisy. The fan isn't very noisy, and if you have the power supply away from you, you really don't hear it at all. However, those birdies you can't hide because they're coming right to you. So let's get our birdies back and try something. All right, black to black, red to red. All right, birdie, where are you? Let's find the elusive bird. All right, there's one there. I'm going to disconnect this antenna. That antenna's out. Let's try something just like a dummy load. I have to swing my adapter down. So it's definitely in there. However, the better the antenna, I mean, at least the dummy lid, the better the shielding on the antenna. If I take away the outer shield, let me turn that down because that's going to get loud. There it is. I didn't even put my finger in there. Here we go. A couple of things to note here is that the frequency will change a little bit too. There's one. That's a pretty annoying one. So a couple of things I want to try. The first thing is to ground the power supply and the radio together, and then we'll run them to earth ground. Well, closest I have in here is the house ground. Okay, there's the two of them grounded together. All right, so I have it going into the house ground. It'd be the same as if I could reach over there and grab the metal or a cold water pipe, and it makes no difference whatsoever. I didn't really expect it to. Get this off out of my way. So the other thing I wanted to try was some of these ferret beads. Now these, I bought them from Amazon, and they're supposed to be just for this particular type of application. But I don't know if they'll work. I don't even know if they'll fit in there. That's right. Supposed to put them together. Again, I don't really expect a lot from these, and I don't even know if these are real. I mean, it could be pieces of plastic. Here's with a bead around it. There's taking the bead off. No difference whatsoever. Here's that low pass filter. Just curious to see if that has any effect. Now, of course, this is on the RF side, not on the power supply side. Get another jumper, the coaxial jumper. I had like 50 of them here. Where did they all go? That's not the kind I want. Really? There we go. Here's one. As you can see, that doesn't really require much from the antenna. Let's look. Not much difference. All right. Yeah, not much difference there. Let me power this off. I'll pause this guy for a minute. All right, so here I coiled a bunch of I had that big long 18-foot long piece or whatever, and coiled the wire together to see if it would possess any of the properties of a common mode choke, and I don't think so. So what it comes down to is when you have these power supply noises, and I'm assuming that's what it is, everything points to it, you have the choice of getting a better power supply. Of course, the linear power supplies are always better. If it's not real bad, you can, and I've never seen it, but I know that they put those ferret ends in a lot of power supplies. I'm trying to look around here if I have anything with one on it. A lot of computer power supplies have them. That cuts down some of the switching mode noises. Or make sure you have good station ground, and that'll take care of a lot of noises too, but not that kind of noise. That's pretty hard. I don't know where it's coming from. And then lastly would be a low pass filter on the power line, which I guess I guess that would be the next thing is to build one of those. But I'm really not sure how that'll turn out either. So anyhow, I just wanted to kind of knock out a couple things and see if it changed at all, and nothing seems to change it. All right. So I don't really have a fix for it. Just something I wanted to point out there. Switch mode power supplies, you know, they're cheap, and if you're just starting out, that might be all you can afford. But expect that you will have some of those noises up in there, and I guess that's why a lot of people don't like switch mode power supplies anywhere near sensitive receiver equipment, even the little wall wart types. So, all right, well, hey, thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something. And like I said, unfortunately, I don't have a fix for it. Take care.